It's a big courtroom loss for the Ford government. Their controversial wage restraint law, better known as Bill 124, has been deemed unconstitutional yet again. Ontario's Court of Appeals ruling in favor of workers, which means they could soon be eligible for billions of dollars in back pay.
This is a historic day. The government needs to accept this ruling and stop fighting workers.
A warning to back off and drop the Bill 124 fight. This marks the second time an Ontario court has struck down the wage restraint legislation, calling it a law that violated the collective bargaining rights of public sector workers.
I have repeatedly been asking the Premier to back off, day after day for over 4 years since this anti-democratic and frankly unconstitutional bill passed in 2019.
When Bill 124 came into effect in 2019, it capped salary increases at 1% for 3 years for hundreds of thousands of public sector workers, including teachers and nurses. It sparked outrage among labor groups that are today celebrating.
Workers are fighting back, and we are winning. We refuse to be divided.
In her ruling, the justice wrote Ontario has not been able to explain why wage restraint could not have been achieved through good faith bargaining.
I haven't been briefed yet on the decision.
Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy was grilled on the court's decision today, which could mean $8.4 billion in back pay for workers over the next 5 years.
We've incorporated that into our expenditures.
It doesn't sound like you're too concerned about the back pay. You say you've accounted for it in your expenditures. So why fight this ruling?
Well, I'm always concerned about the numbers, so let's be clear on that. But I think I'm also a prudent fiscal manager, and so that's why you build in contingencies.
Arbitrators have already awarded retroactive pay to some workers that had reopener clauses in their contracts, including teachers, nurses, and other hospital workers. Workers without that clause will have a longer fight ahead.
At the end of the day, there has to be some sort of remedy when your rights have been trampled on. We are not leaving any worker behind.
As for whether or not the government will appeal the latest decision to the Supreme Court, that remains unclear.
I'm not going to speculate on what we may or may not do.
But if they do,
We'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court, but on the way, we will make their lives hell.
the finance minister didn't have an exact figure for how much these appeals have cost taxpayers so far, but union leaders have called it a huge waste of time and money. He also didn't have a figure for how much retroactive pay has been awarded so far. For City News, I'm Tina Yazdani.